Hi guys, welcome back to Just Jaysa. As you know, I am Jaysa, and today's video is a two-parter. Okay, so if you've been following my pages, you know I have been saying that we were going to do this video multiple Saturdays. I have literally been planning to do this on multiple days, and it's just not happening. But I am recording really quick to go over the first part. Okay, so it's supposed to be on receiving love. It's still going to be on receiving love, but not in the way that you think. At least not at this point. You already know alignment, alignment, alignment. Everything I do goes in alignment with my life and things that I want to make sure I'm supposed to be sharing with you. And it's so crazy because I thought I was going to be talking about actual relationships when it comes to receiving love. However, it's kind of gone a little different for me, and I want to make sure I'm sharing that aspect of it instead of just the generic relationships. At this point, you already know where I'm at with different experiences in my life and how things have turned out. So when it comes to relationships and receiving love and giving love and love in general, it's in told tale, right? It's something you've already heard. It's something you've already heard. So with this one, I really wanted to talk more about blessings, and receiving gifts and receiving your purpose, receiving love from our higher power, our ancestors, ourselves, our faith, whatever you believe in order to really move forward in the things that we have been pushing ourselves to do. So for me, this one is going to really be geared more towards receiving that experience of love, right? In our world, we always are trying to connect love to people that are placed in our lives either for a purpose or a season, right? Temporarily or for something that is really meant for us. And a lot of the times we are disappointed when they do not do things the way that we are expecting, or if they disappear for some reason, or just anything that can cause us to lose faith in love. And in this generation, y'all, every time I open my page, every time I talk to someone, it seems like people are steering more and more away from love. So at that point, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. So I decided to switch up the idea of receiving love for this video. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be diving into more so receiving a different version of love, a higher sense of love, in order for us to move forward in our lives. Okay, so again, I am going to be speeding through this, y'all, because today is my Understanding Your Character workshop. If you have not gotten your tickets, it starts at 1 o'clock. This video will not be up by that time. No worries, I will be recording it, and you can purchase the access to the video on my website, audacityofwomen.com. If you have not subscribed to my other YouTube or podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Contrary to the Culture, and She'll Talk, make sure you do that. I have videos Wednesdays, Tuesdays, and Saturdays, so you can see me at least 3 times a week, all right, y'all? As well as our upcoming panel. KMS education, y'all, you already know that's my baby. I talk about it as much as I possibly can in my previous videos when I was more consistent. It will be launching in August. So the best way for me to do that is by hosting a panel with amazing educators. So I'm super excited to share that lineup with you guys. Make sure you are purchasing your tickets for that. That will be at the end of August, and that also is available on my website. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into this topic before I run out of time. Y'all, so this topic, again, like I said, it dives more into guiding us towards our purpose. And something that I've been experiencing lately has been me evading this sense of blessing, this sense of purpose, as the best I possibly can. I have been doing a very good job at it until one day I was slapped in the face with my blessing again, as a reminder for me to stop trying to control the narrative, stop trying to control this crazy outcome or path that I was trying to be on, and just accept where I'm able to go. And that's not even a bad thing, right? So something that I've noticed is we are constantly praying or constantly hoping, wishing for things in our lives to just happen. And when they do, we aren't happy with the results. We're not happy with the path that it takes to get there. And just, I guess, a little backstory, y'all. You know how I am when it comes to being open and transparent. So it was in relation to my job. So going back a little bit more, you guys remember my transition period. It has been hell. That is just being honest. It has been ridiculous. I'm trying to figure it out. All these moving pieces, wanting to work, not wanting to work, leaving my son, not leaving my son, making money, not making money, being okay where I'm at. It was all of these back and forths with me personally. And a lot of that stemmed from me wanting to work, going from a career woman to a stay-at-home mom with no money. So I decided, you know what, I'm going back to work. And I prayed about it, y'all. I prayed about it to the extent where I'm like, look, I need you to tell me straight up. I need you to guide me exactly where you need me to be. And it happened. So I ended up applying for all these different jobs. And I was calling the ones back that were putting themselves in my face, that I thought, oh, okay, they actually are interested. They want me there. They want me to move forward with pursuing this path. But for some reason, every time someone would reach out to me and I would respond back, I wouldn't get a response. So discouraging, right? I completely was like, yo, it's me. It's not these jobs. It's something with me. It's not happening. I ended up getting a call from a facility that wasn't even on my radar. I applied for it. Cool position. It would work out. And I'm like, you know what? If it happens, it happens. But they actually called me back. And not only did they work with the hours that I needed to accommodate my husband going to work and my son needing me, y'all, it has been such a transition working with this company that I could not look it in a dead horse in the face, right? But of course, I was trying my best to overthink situations, overthink things that were going on in my life. And I ran, okay? Worked for about 3 days, y'all. That was it. Needless to say, a week went by, and again, it came up. My boss, ended up reaching out to me again. She was like, look, I want to work with you. This is going to happen. We are going to do what we need to do to make this work. And again, instead of me processing, this is my blessing and you are having a hard time receiving that, I was trying my best to figure out what is wrong. What is going to go wrong? How am I going to mess this up? How am I not fit for this position? What in my life is not going to allow me to be qualified for this position? Okay, so thinking back to my workshop for the day, which again, alignment is crazy for me. I was experiencing imposter syndrome, and not necessarily because I knew I did not think I was capable to carry out the duties. I was more so thinking of my life. I was thinking of more of a personal stance, not a professional stance. I did not feel qualified to move forward from this transition period. I wasn't ready. I was not ready to receive this next step. So for me, when I talk about receiving love, love is not always coming from someone else. It is for you. And I think for me, when it came to this topic and identifying what I was actually going to focus on, I didn't realize I needed to stop talking about receiving love from the outside in. I needed to focus on my in. Everything that had to do with me. And this is something that has always been a huge conversation for me with myself and God, right? We are always talking about what I want, what that looks like, how I can get there. I am okay with being at home. I am at the point in my life where I am not striving for profit. I'm not striving for money. I am literally striving for peace, comfortability, the flexibility to be myself and enjoy those feats that I've been trying to reach for so long. And this opportunity kept coming up as a way for me to do that. But instead of me being open to that, I kept finding the ways for it to go wrong. And I'm not going to let it pass up again, but just understanding that for this experience and this example, I wanted to make sure I shared those details because now I can understand how to receive different things just off this one experience. So what I want to say and how I want to start this is, one, stop overthinking. For me, that has been huge. I have always been a huge overthinker. I have always been the person that was wondering every in-between micro step that could deter my path. My husband always brings it up. He's like, you are not good with the journey. You just want to get to the end. That is true. I am terrified of the journey. I have no idea what I am capable of. And not necessarily, again, in my skills, but what I'm capable of, meaning my mind. Am I going to overthink it? Am I going to screw it up? Am I going to say the wrong thing and talk myself out of it or talk someone else out of me? it's just so bad. So for me, that has always been huge, overthinking every micro experience. How do we overcome that? We can't, right? Unless we subconsciously choose to. We have to find a way to understand that these opportunities in this path is not by mistake, it's not by accident. And if you believe that, there are a lot of ways that you can start to deter your mind from believing in that negative side of the experience, or the opportunity for you to just move forward with grace and freedom. A lot of the things that I've had to do in this past couple months of me trying to get out of that mindset has been writing it down. Y'all already know I am a huge writer. I write down literally everything. That is to my benefit sometimes, right? And what I've been writing down is exactly what that future looks like, right? That is my first one. It's the easiest one because it's the one you enjoy. You love writing down the things that you are looking forward to. Whereas that other column are the things that I am afraid to experience, that may come with that goal, right? So let's say for going to work, I am afraid to experience separation anxiety from my son. I am afraid of experiencing an hour each day with my husband because he works overnight. So I come home, he's getting ready to leave. I'm afraid of experiencing a new environment of people. There are so many things that we aren't ready to acknowledge, and we kind of pack it away. So with me doing this method, I was able to see, okay, if you can overcome this to get to this, you earned it. And for me, that's how I work. I have to earn it. I have to see a reason why it has added value to myself, instead of just having that selfish mindset as far as I just need it. It's just mine. And for me, I want to work for it. So that is how I've been able to overcome more of my overthinking mindset. So I suggest if you were interested in trying it, by all means, I think it'll be a great, easy way for you to just kind of see what you're capable of. And then that's also an accomplishment. You can say, look what I did. And tell yourself, look what you overcame that you were so afraid of, that you got to this point, right? So we are always in the mindset of, oh, you can't do something. Nah, write it down. Show yourself that you can. Focus on what you are really trying to overcome. And baby, everything else is butter in between. It is jelly. It is the cherry on top. It is whatever the hell makes your sweet tooth quiver, okay? After this, I would definitely focus more on going back to what you are trying to receive. A lot of us do not know our purpose. We do not know what that feeling is. We do not know what we are supposed to be taking in. Talk to yourself. Talk to God. Talk to the people around you. Try and really narrow down what you are constantly talking about, okay? That sounds crazy, but I can say again with examples. I am always talking about my business. I am. I'm always thinking about my business. I'm always dreaming about my business, whether it is good or bad. So for me, my purpose has been, as of late, because it can change, my purpose has been getting my business off the ground, and not necessarily again for me. Again, with me steering away from profit, steering away from trying to focus on the monetary gain, it has allowed me to see that vision of connecting with people, putting on these events, doing my podcast, connecting with children, doing more of my education side, doing all of these amazing things, seeing it happen, coming into fruition has been my goal, has been beauty for me. So when it comes to thinking about these conversations that I have, it allowed me to focus on what was actually important to me. What am I constantly talking about? What do I see as this goal for myself because of the interactions I'm having? What is something that constantly comes up in communications? And that is a good way for you to kind of see what your purpose is and guide you in that path. Because again, we are constantly overthinking. We are constantly trying to shut down our thoughts, our passions, because we feel some type of way about them. That is where we get deterred. That is where we get into this mindset that we are not capable of receiving blessings, love, gifts, praise, any of those things, because we have talked ourselves out of it. That is a bad habit to have, and that is what we are going to do in this part one of receiving love, okay? To give you another example, y'all, I'm sorry, my scarf is killing my ears. Oh. um Another thing that I would say when it comes to this topic has been being self-aware. that is something, ooh, my ears are big. Something being self-aware has always been a huge conversation for me, mainly because I am in the position of trying to be better than I was yesterday. And the reason I say this is where I'm at now is because I have learned that a lot of us are not at that stage yet. We are not in a position to where we are ready to jump into that process. Because similar to us getting out of the mindset of overthinking, being self-aware is huge when it comes to you have to have a willingness to do so. And when I think about receiving love, again, I have to know my experiences. I have to know where my blame has rested. I have to know what I am trying to get out of each experience. And when I think about my personal experiences, I was at a point where I placed a lot of blame, where I was looking to everyone else to apologize to me, validate my experiences. And it kept me in that position because I know for me, I don't like to be told sorry. I don't like to hear it. I don't like apologies. It's a waste of my time. And I know that. So when I know that about myself, how is it that I can be stuck in this constant cycle of blame? How can I be stuck in this position to require someone to take on these feelings I have about the experience I had, when I don't want anything from them? There is nothing that they can do that can take away that experience or that can make me feel like they truly mean it. So I had to be self-aware of these things. They cannot go hand in hand because we are constantly contradicting, we are constantly battling that experience. So taking that in mind, again, being self-aware is something that we talk about a lot on this channel. And again, it's not easy. It's not something that you can just jump into. You have to know yourself. And I am 26 now. That may seem young, but it took me 26 years to know I needed to be self-aware, not who I was. It took me 26 years to understand that this is part of my journey. This is part of my life. So when I encourage other people to be self-aware, it's not saying you need to know yourself today because it's you that is experiencing you. That's not true. It is you being aware of what you do, what you like, what you don't like. It is you taking on other people. Not saying that you have to embody the things that people say about you, but kind of take note, right? So something about me that I've actually talked about in a podcast I was a guest of. I mentioned how people would always say I look unapproachable. Oh my gosh. And me, I know my personality. I am so approachable. Come talk to me. But I also am aware that I have constantly been told that I have resting bitch face. I look so mean, and I'm just in my head, I'm probably singing a damn musical. But outside looking in, they're like, yo, why does she look so angry? And I have to be aware of that. I have to take that on. So now, what is my responsibility? Do I want to come off as this person that's unapproachable, that's mean and always angry, fitting that stereotype? Or do I want people to look at me? Do I want people to come and talk to me, engage in conversation, engage in relationships with me? That's my decision. I have to figure that out. And once I figure that out, I have to execute different activities in order to be more approachable, to take on the role I want people to have with me. And again, that goes into being aware, being self-aware, being understanding of what you want your outcomes to be. Anyway, y'all, again, this is just part one of receiving love. And there are so many things that we can do. There are so many things that we can look at and understand. Hang on. Sorry, y'all, that was my mother-in-law. But to wrap up, y'all, because my workshop is about to start, I just want to tell you guys that you are deserving of love in every way. But first, you need to focus on yourself. You need to figure out what you need. You need to figure out how you want it to be given to you. Because when we jump into part two of giving love, if you don't have that down pat, if you don't have your foundation set up, you are going to be giving people some really shitty experiences. And there is no one else to blame but yourself. Again, you have to understand yourself. You have to understand what you want out of these situations. You have to understand that it is not going to be easy. You are going to overthink it. You are going to have imposter syndrome. You are going to constantly feel less than at every different stages because you might be. You're not, but you might feel that way. And at some point you may have traits that are making you project this less than value. And that's okay, because at some point we all have that same experience. but it is our responsibility to understand exactly where we're trying to go, get there, and continue to maintain that habit and that characteristic in order to feel good about ourselves so other people feel good around us. We do not want to project this icky, ooey gooey feeling and experience with people. We want them to feel engaged and enlightened to be around us. If we can't do that, y'all, this world is never going to change. But again, this is part one. I am Jaysa. I am super excited to share this experience with you guys. Sorry, y'all. Experience with y'all, and I look forward to sharing more with you guys. I promise I will do my best to get back on recording Just Jaysa. Y'all know I can't just let it go. Again, if you have not visited my website, audacityofwomen.com, make sure you do. Go check out our events that are up there. I think every event for the rest of the year is posted. Subscribe to all of our podcasts, Contrary to the Culture on Tuesdays, CEO Talk on Wednesdays. If you are interested in being a CEO, definitely reach out to me. Let's get you booked. Other than that, y'all, have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to next weekend for part 2 of Giving Love. All right, y'all. Bye.